Welcome to a new video, and in this video it's all about the Huawei Nova 9 against the iPhone 13 mini, both mid-range devices, though around 300 to 200 euros price difference. Which mid-range device has the better camera setup, the Huawei Nova 9 or the iPhone 13 mini? Let's get started. So let's take a look at the camera specifications. We have a two camera setup basically on both, though the Huawei has more cameras, but only the 50 megapixel main and 8 megapixel ultrawide is really usable. The two 2 megapixel sensors are for depth and macro. The iPhone 13 mini has two 12 megapixel sensors for ultrawide and main, and of course both feature front facing cameras as well. And yeah, here you can see all the specifications on screen about those cameras as well. Let's take some videos and first start with selfie videos. So we start off with the 32 megapixel front-facing camera of the Huawei Nova 9, recording 1080p 60 frames per second. It can go up to 4K 30 frames per second, and this is what you can expect in terms of quality. The sun is now outside and I'm just enjoying the sun. Let's check out a bit of HDR. So how good is it in terms of still exposing my face nicely? I think it's doing a good job here. And yeah, this is what you can expect in terms of quality with the Huawei Nova 9's front-facing camera. So, and now the iPhone 13 mini's front-facing camera, also full HD 60 frames per second. And how stabilization here, how are colors here, how is HDR, just like see how this looks like. I think I'm nicely exposed as well, at least it looks like this on the screen. And yeah, what do you think about this one here? Is a little bit smaller sensor and also a little bit less megapixels here to work with, but I think Apple always has a nice quality when it comes to video. Also here on the front-facing camera, and stabilization should work fine. Of course you can also go up to 4K, I think up to 60 frames per second, but you have to go into high efficiency mode then to record this video, otherwise it caps only 4K 30 frames per second if you want to record in H.264. So what do you think about this one? Let's check out the rear cameras. Now the main camera on the Huawei Nova 9, 50 megapixel. How stabilization here? How are the colors here? Nice background blur, I think 1080p 60 frames per second. It can go up to 4K 30, but you cannot switch to the ultra wide angle when recording 60 frames per second. The ultra wide angle can only do 4K 30 at max. So what do you think about the colors? What do you think about stabilization of this main shooter of the Huawei Nova 9? So same thing with the iPhone 13 mini. Its main camera sensor here, which is the largest one, and this one has only 12 megapixels, but its quality is pretty nice. I think stabilization should work as well pretty fine, and yeah, colors look also pretty nice, I think. And which one do you like more? How's the background blur here on this one, which is like a slightly smaller sensor here on the iPhone? And HDR, of course, sun in the background now. And can I switch to the ultra wide angle during recording? Let's check this out. Yes, there we go, the ultra wide angle during recording, 1080p 60 frames per second. No issues at all on the iPhone 13 mini. What do you think about stabilization here? The wide field of view. So, and now the Huawei Nova 9's ultra wide angle 8 megapixel sensor, which works quite nice, I would say. For an ultra wide angle, it's not the best, and I think the iPhone has a slight edge here in ultra wide angle, but I think it's still good, and good for vlogging, especially when you keep in mind that the price point of this one is 300 euros, roughly 300 euros, 200 to 300 euros less than the iPhone's ones. And the interesting thing is here the colors are correct, because usually when taking photos with this ultra wide angle, the colors are a little bit washed out or look like they are painted with another sensor. So this one is working fine. Also HDR I think is working fine. Let's check this out. Should work fine, I think. and I'm recording 4K 30 here. So this is upscaling probably from 3.5K or something like this to 4K. But still the quality looks nice, and of course I have also the ability to switch to the main camera. There we go. And this is now the main camera shooting at 1x, which is possible as well. If you record 4K only up to 30 frames per second, then you can also switch between all the cameras during recording. And yeah, which of those cameras is the better in terms of videography? And do you see the price gap between the iPhone and the Huawei Nova 9? Write it down in the comment section. And what we want to do now is I will take some nice pictures here, and I have some other pictures prepared already. I will walk you through my analysis of the photos. So here we have the photos. On the left always the Nova 9, and on the right always the iPhone 13 mini. So nighttime photos, we start off with some stock photos that I took that you probably know from all my other comparisons. So we have a brighter picture on the Nova 9 in darker conditions. We have a bit of like a greenish kind of cast on the iPhone 13 mini. But overall, both did a good job in this very dim lit situation. And if you zoom in, what you can see is slightly a bit sharper on the iPhone 13 mini, but a bit more noisy as well. You can see the noise in the background, which is smoothened out here, which might be one of the reasons why the Nova 9 is not so sharp, because it's smoothing things a little bit out here. When we take a look at the other night shot, you can see that in fairly dim lit situation, the iPhone 13 mini seems to be getting here the better results. It's a brighter image for sure. It's more white. The white is more white here, and here it's a bit of yellowish on the Nova 9. That might have something to do with the RYYB sensor the Nova 9 uses. When it comes to detail level, however, let's take a look at here. Do you see some differences in the text? Not so much, maybe a bit more smeary on the Nova 9, a bit clearer on the iPhone 13 mini, but the iPhone 13 mini preserves the back wall a little bit more, where this is smoothed out on the Nova 9, and you can see it's also here above this, where everything is smoothed out on the Nova 9, and the iPhone 13 mini keeps these details. When we take a look at the detail level by itself, we can see that it looks more natural a bit on the Nova 9. When you take a look at the text here, for example, it looks like it's printed, like it's like some post-processing is running over the iPhone, sharpening going on here. And I think when it looks a bit more natural here on the Nova 9 when it comes to those detail levels, but overall I think both do a great job. The iPhone 13 mini has the edge over the Nova 9. When it comes to close focusing distance, the Nova 9, despite having a larger sensor, you can get a little bit closer to subjects. With the iPhone 13 mini, I had to go a little bit further. Otherwise, I do get such a picture here where you can see everything is out of focus. So I tried it, and the only thing that I got something to work with is with this distance here. So when it comes to detail level here, again, very good. Color level, very good. And here, this very good. The Nova 9, I think what you can see here clearly is that there's a little bit more shadowing going on the iPhone 13 mini, so more contrast punching in that you don't see on the Nova 9. The Nova 9 has a bit more of a natural look. As you can get closer, the detail level, of course, is a bit better than on the iPhone. So when it comes to close-up shots, the Nova 9 has the edge over the iPhone 13 mini. We can see this also in other shots. Front-facing camera shots, basically the same. The iPhone 13 mini has a bit of wider field of view here. The Nova 9 a bit narrow, but when we can see here in the background is that the Nova 9 has a bit better HDR. We can see even a slight blue in the sky here that it tries to protect that it's not there on the iPhone 13 mini. So when it comes to detail level itself, I think you get more megapixels on the Nova 9. You can zoom in a bit more, so a bit more details here than on the iPhone 13 mini. So I think the Nova 9 wins when it comes to the front-facing camera. When it comes to zoom shots, this is 2x zoom here of my collection of TV series, and both use a crop. We can see that the iPhone 13 mini is again adding sharpening and more contrast, where the black is not as deeply black on the Nova 9. It's a bit more unsharp, but you can see the universal film where it's trying to sharpen it up on the iPhone 13 mini is hardly readable, and even though it's a bit unsharp, it is still distinguishable and readable on the Nova 9, though the splendid film looks better on the iPhone 13 mini. And the numbers here, when we take a look at here, you can see again the over sharpening of the iPhone 13 mini makes those numbers hard to read. Is it a 6? Is it an 8? And here you can see it's a bit more blurry, but it's easier to read here. It's 2 8s at the front. So if you are pixel peeping in this kind of way, then definitely the Nova 9 helps there. But keep in mind also the colors here, the Mr. Robot. If you have the season 1 of Mr. Robot, you can see that it's a bit of darker red on the iPhone 13 mini, which is not true to life. It's a bit more this more signal red that you can see on the Nova 9, but this is like also almost indistinguishable. Both are not the perfect when it comes to zoom shots, and you can see it. This is the original, by the way, that they have slightly different exposures as well, a bit overblown, I could say, on the Nova 9. Here, is it? I'm not so sure when it comes to the texts here and here. It's a bit brighter, I think, on the Nova 9, and it shows a different white balance. You can see that here on the board, which is a bit more orange on the Nova 9. But we can see when I zoom in, is the detail level is quite significantly better on the iPhone 13 mini. Is it only because it is sharper, or has it something to do also with adding more contrast? We will see in a few minutes. Anyway, both are not good in taking zoom shots. This is 5 times maximum for iPhone 13 mini. Nova 9 can do 10 times, but forget about it. Different brightness level, a bit of greenish tint here. Here as well, greenish bluish tint on the iPhone 13 mini, but better exposure, a bit more yellowish here on the Nova 9. When it comes to detail level, forget about them. Both are weak. The iPhone 13 mini is a bit better right here. You can see maybe a little bit more of detail, but it's like both are doing a bad job when it comes to 5 times zoom. So forget about them when it comes to zoom. They don't have an extra zoom camera, so it doesn't really matter to compare them there. So the Nova 9 here on the ultra wide angle, you can see I think it's doing a little bit better of an HDR job, which is very interesting because the exposure here of the book stand and here is clearly different. And when we take a look at the other thing is, then here I think also that the background here on the iPhone 13 mini on the ultra wide angle is a bit slightly overblown, that you get this casting that you don't have here on the Nova 9. So the Nova 9 I think has a bit better HDR. You can also see it here again. Also there's noise creeping in already, but the noise is not bad because it preserves sharpness on the iPhone 13 mini. And overall I think when it comes to colors, again, it looks like just like here. Look at this. It's the problem of the Nova 9's ultra wide angle. It looks always like someone painted the color into it and did a bad job because it has glowing all over the face, all over the place here. It's really weird. I don't know why. And this HDR here looks fake on the iPhone 13 mini, you have to say, but it's looking artificial because it's raising the shadows that here it's not doing. So it looks a bit more realistic on the Nova 9, but the colors on the Nova 9, forget about them on the ultra wide angle. Then let's go to the right. Let's take a look at the photos here. More realistic colors on the Nova 9, definitely. It's not so punchy blue as on the iPhone 13 mini, but when we zoom in, we can see a significant lack in details on the Nova 9, despite having the 50 megapixel sensor, and it's downscaling it to 12 megapixels, I think, again as well. This one, the iPhone 13 mini, just simply wins. Just take a look at the detail level here and look how unsharp it is already here. So it is what it is, and you can see this on the ultra wide angle as well. Again, ultra wide angle is a bit wide on the iPhone 13 mini. Again, it's overdoing it with its colors and boosting them. So the sky did not look like this. It looked more like on the Nova 9, though the Nova 9 has a color problem in general. So you cannot trust this one when it comes to detail levels. Interestingly enough, iPhone 13 mini should have 12 megapixels, I think, ultra wide angle. And you can clearly see more details there. And here it's like a bit washed out. And just look at the building here on the side, and you can clearly see that it's blurry. Here it is sharp. So the iPhone 13 mini has the better ultra wide angle. When it comes to zoom shots, again, 2x zoom here. The iPhone 13 mini, again, a bit more grainy, but preserves more details, and the Nova 9 is a bit wish-washing, everything wishy-washy. And 5x zoom, the same thing. So when you take a look here, you can see the pixels basically on this bird. Go here. It's smoothing out the pixels on this bird, but this also lack of detail, shows a lack of detail. And you can clearly see it in this shot that the Nova 9 has a focusing issue somehow. Either it has a focusing issue or it is really, really unsharp against the iPhone 13 mini. Let's take a look at here and compare it with here, and you can clearly see what the issue is. The issue is not it's unsharp. The issue is this was focusing correctly, and focusing against the sun with the Nova 9 results in it was focusing on this spot here where the bird had done something great. So this explains the unsharpness, but the problem is you have this problem also here in this shot, for example. Whenever there's a shot against the sun, the focusing system on the Nova 9 just simply is not keeping up with the scope. It needs like sunglasses, or it needs someone putting some shade over the lenses for it to getting it sharp. You can see a dramatic difference where the iPhone 13 mini destroys the Nova 9 when it comes to this ultra wide angle here. Both shots pretty nice. I like the colors on the Nova 9. If I don't have to zoom in, I think it's pretty nice. Both don't feature autofocus on the ultra wide angle lens. When you take a look at the more eye-pleasing one is the iPhone 13 mini, because it makes the sky blue and the water blue, where the Nova 9 keeps it a bit more realistic. When it comes to detail level, you can also see here the bridge. I think there's a bit more detail here on the iPhone 13 mini as well. Close focusing distance here, I can get closer with the Nova 9 despite having a larger sensor and still get things sharp. Here on the iPhone 13 mini I have to go a little bit further away. The Nova 9, if you want to have close-up shots, has a 2 megapixel close-up macro lens as well, where you can see if I zoom in here with the 2 megapixel, roughly I get the same what the iPhone 13 mini can do without the macro lens, and from a far from a lot further away. So the detail level, you don't win anything with the Nova 9. Also the colors change a bit, as you can see here. This is much better. Even on the Nova 9 you get a better photo, more macro capability by using the normal lens. When it comes to this shot, again, you can see now without the focusing issues, focusing on this here, that the iPhone 13 mini has, even though it has only 12 megapixels and it's not doing pixel binning, again the colors, it's like too blue, too punchy definitely, but sharpness overall and detail level is better than on the Nova 9. Is it good enough or better? There's up to 300 euros price difference. This is for you to decide, but yeah, this is what I see here. In close-up shots, again, when you want to do such close-up shots, I think even I prefer the iPhone 13 mini here, just because both busy background, not so much detail on the iPhone 13 mini, but the color looks more pleasant to the eye. So they're doing something where here it looks like an old kind of flower, maybe more realistic, but here it looks like, nice flower. And let's keep it at this flower, and let's take a look at the Nova 9's macro cam, because you can get good macro photos like this here, which are fantastic, I would say. Even though it's only 2 megapixel macro, if you nail the macro shot, it looks really, really cool, I have to say. So, and that's basically everything. What do you think about this? I think the iPhone 13 mini overall has a slight edge over the Nova 9, especially in those situations where the sun is shining directly on the sensor, and yeah, the Nova 9 has some focusing issues there. But yeah, overall both lack in zoomability, and the ultra wide angle slightly better on the iPhone 13 mini when it comes to resolution. When it comes to HDR, I prefer the Nova 9 a little bit overall, I have to say. So they're head to head, with the iPhone 13 mini coming close to the win, and the Nova 9 coming close to the iPhone 13 mini. Oh, do we have a clear winner, the iPhone against the Huawei Nova 9? I'm not so sure. Keep in mind the price difference between those two phones, and we are both mid-range phones, I would say, but the iPhone 13 mini clearly upper mid-range, where the Huawei Nova 9 is more the middle of the mid-range device. So who's the clear winner here for you? Write it down in the comment section. I will stay silent here. I have a favorite here, but yeah, tell me what you think.